Hey, Soul Family. I'm Jude Hotep, the Goddess Astrologer and Master Soul Coach. This is the Lunar Solar Eclipse. This is happening on October 14th on a Saturday. So we're going to get into the chart and part one, where I channel the astrology, I channel from my Arcturian and Andromedan guides, I channel from all over the universe, benevolent, light places, and I channel from the divine and so forth. So that's part one. Part two is your sun sign horoscopes and oracle card readings. I really encourage you to listen to part one because it'll make that deeper and you'll actually understand the foundation of what I'm talking about in your astrology reading and oracle card reading. So, in your sun sign horoscope. So, let's get into part one. This eclipse has been intense. So, I've been feeling some really intense energies since that Aries full moon. It was like right after that Aries full moon, the energies just compressed and it got intense for me. And I feel the collective energies as such. There's this urgency also. There's this fast, quick moving energy underneath. So this is eclipse season. We've been in eclipse season already for 2 weeks. It's usually the month before the first eclipse and a month after the last eclipse. We're feeling it. I find that the 2 weeks before and after are particularly intense. And it's starting a new 6-month cycle. So we're ending the cycle from April 19th, that Aries 29-degree solar eclipse. And we're ending the cycle from the May 5th Scorpio lunar eclipse. And now we're going into these eclipses that are the Libra and the Taurus eclipses, the 14th and then October 28th. And with that Taurus eclipse, we're hearkening to when the nodal axis was in the Taurus Scorpio nodal axis. So this is happening on the 14th. It's happening at 12:56 p.m. Central Time. Adjust for your time zone. A solar eclipse is when there's a new moon and it's at 29 degrees Libra. So we have this Libra solar eclipse, and of course it's going to be opposite that north node, which is conjunct Erisina exact. This has been the case for a while. This is a conjunction that's been going on for a while. And it's an important conjunction because Erisina is this goddess asteroid that sits outside the ecliptic. So she's outside the consensus status quo. She doesn't operate within the status quo. She operates in her own unique way, her true self. She operates in a way that is according to natural law, not according to mainstream status quo ways. She's also sitting with other goddess asteroids. So she's forming sisterhood and community. And it's hearkening to what's so important because it's conjunct the North Node. And it's in the Aries archetype. Aries archetype, all about your autonomy, owning your no. This has been coming up so prevalently in the collective, particularly in the feminine collective, owning your no and really kind of considering, why is that so challenging? It's the guilt that's going on internally, and it's the rebuking the issues that people give you, people's responses to you externally. And Erisina is here supporting our activation of this North Node in our lives and doing this archetype of independence, assertiveness, really having clear, direct communication. There's a lot of manipulation in the collective where people aren't owning their no. They're saying these mousy little responses to people to not be real. And it's a form of manipulation. And it's really something to really consider, because it's not that it's dark or malicious, but it's still manipulative. And it's also really you not owning your power. Someone that is doing it, and the person that is doing it to you. So that person is not really owning their power. So this Mars has moved into the Scorpio. It's conjunct the shapely attractor here. And it's out of Libra. And so it has talked to the South Node and gotten a lot of information. Mars takes action. Mars doesn't like being in Libra. It's very indecisive in Libra. And Mars is in Scorpio. Mars likes to be in Scorpio, strong placement. It's very much direct and getting to the heart of what's going on. Mars is yang, external. It's how we're moving in the world. It's how, the collective. So the collective is in this, moving from this emotional, instinctual place, but could be from the subconscious wound, Scorpio, from the purging. Eclipses bring up purging. Eclipses cut things away. So with this being a new moon eclipse, of course, with an ending, there's a beginning, right? And with it being a new moon in general, that balsamic period leading up before it. And then in general, it's an eclipse, so it's intense. So just know that during this time, you may feel a compression, you may feel a lot of intensity. Get prepared for endings. This could be job losses, your people in your life losing jobs, changing homes, getting kicked out, partners leaving, sudden and abrupt things happening and occurring. It's also very much this cutting away of something, of how we relate. Libra is a yang air sign. It's a cardinal sign. It's directional. It takes forward momentum. However, it takes forward momentum in its mind. So it is taking action in its mind. So to understand that this is going to be a very mental eclipse. This is going to be bringing up all of these things in your mind, thought loops and thought errors, and so much mentalization that is old patterns, old subconscious gunk. This is going to be purging up, and it's coming up for us to sift through, for us to change the pattern, and for us to learn this archetype of Libra, of how to master this Libra archetype, this Libra air quality. So if we have Libra air, Gemini air, and Aquarius air, and that's the consciousness of air, and we think about these different qualities of air, Libra likes to examine from a distance. It feels safer because it doesn't, it narrates things as disharmonious. If it were to do Aries and be assertive, be direct. Directness is actually very clear. It has a clear boundary. It has a clear edge. It has a clear no and yes. But this Libra, the shadow being codependency, where it blends into everything, where it's merged with things. And in partnership's supposed to be two equals, two autonomous beings, right? This Aries, two Aries autonomous beings coming to this relationship, Libra. And Libra is about balance and equality. Libra is seeking that, though. So Libra can erroneously narrate anything seemingly disharmonious, which, again, this is coming from a Libra perspective of what's harmonious and what's not. Aries would never think it's not harmonious to be mousy and not have a clear answer, clear boundary, not tell somebody, hey, I've kind of hit my limit. I need to go take a break. I need to get off the phone, or I'm done with this activity, done with this conversation, whatever it is. Aries would think that that's actually being better, because there's a clarity, there's a directness, there's no manipulation, there's no lack of clarity. Where the edge is, where the end and the beginning is. Whereas Libra is going to blend into things if it's in the shadow. So we're working with this archetype of these archetypes of the Aries and the Libra. And we've been talking about this for a very long time, because this is so up in the collective. And Mercury is in Libra. Mercury is all over the place in Libra. It's a lot of thoughts, a lot of mind activation, a lot of indecisiveness, a lot of not knowing, feeling confused, not knowing which direction to take, and feeling like there's so many options, and collecting more data and more data and more data. So be aware of how Mercury can behave in Libra, and closely conjunct this moon, about looking underneath, like moving between the underworld and the up above world. And how are you with that? Are you able to do that? Or does the dark side of things, or the underworld of life, is that scare you? Does it freak you out? Are you resistant to looking at it? Because we live in this oppositional universe. Dark and light are resolving halves of the whole. we must be eyes open in this world to what's going on, but it can be heavy to process through, but you do pop out the other side to the light. So this is bringing up so much. Libra is about relationships and relating, how we relate to everything in life, how we relate to the sunshine, the weather, to our home, bills, money, how we relate to our animals, our kids, our parents, our friends, and our lovers, how we relate to the education system, to the military, to the government, to the world, to life. So it's all about relating. It's all about equanimity. It's very much these things. So we want to be aware that this is coming on the heels of so much shifts that we've had. So let's look at just what's coming up before this, because this will really help you understand what's happened. Pluto this year moved into Aquarius from Capricorn, 15-year cycle. Pluto moved into Capricorn in 2008. Pluto is going to be ending a 15-year cycle next November. It's going to move into Aquarius for most of 2024 in January. But right now it's back in Capricorn. It has turned direct at the time of this eclipse. So Pluto is now moving back towards Aquarius. And so Pluto popped into Aquarius for a little while, but this was on the heels of Saturn already being in Aquarius for 3 years since 2020. Saturn went into Aquarius, AI popped off like crazy. The collective was catalyzed by being restricted, Saturn and the collective Aquarius. And so then we had 3 years, and then we also had, what is Aquarius? The archetype is all about liberation and you being your unique self. It's propelling you to be your true, authentic, unique self. It doesn't like anything that is not the truth of who you are and who you really are, not trying to conform or fit in to feel better. And the Libra will conform and fit in. It will chameleon to be accepted, to be liked and approved of, to not have conflict. It really has, the Libra looks at anything as conflict. If somebody doesn't like you, if somebody has a bad opinion of you, if somebody admonishes you, if somebody gets upset with you, Libra will shy away from having any of those sort of interactions. And that's the problem, because if you're not willing to withstand the discomfort or the triggers within yourself or the things that come up when other people come to you in those ways, then you'll never stand in this Aries archetype. And we have to remember that the Aries is their north node, and it's conjunct Erisina, which she's a strong goddess figure of feminine strength and feminine courage. And she fought and took revenge on everyone that hurt her and her family. But then she realized, I'm no better than them, and I need to do something different. I need to do it in a different way. And she rallied the other goddesses. And she's absolutely fierce and undeterred and unflappable. And so it's that kind of archetype. And then on top of it, she's an Aries, which is just this determination and just it's this playful, youthful, happy energy. Aries is a fire sign. It's youthful. It wants to go have fun and go do something, but it's very direct. It's very bold. It's very much who it is. So this Pluto spent this time in Aquarius from March to June this year, after Saturn had already been there from 2020 to this year. This year, Saturn went into Pisces on the 7th. It's retrograding back to that 0 degree mark, and then it's going to move forward and keep rolling through Pisces. But this is the second time that it's been from 7 degrees back to 0 degrees. So the second time at 0 degrees, it'll turn direct and then hit that 0 degree mark again. And then, sitting on it and then move forward again. So Saturn is going through this first decade of Pisces being soul, being the higher, consciousness, creativity, connecting to the all that is. Pisces rather is this like two sides of the same coin, the mystical and the madness, but it's also the meaningful and the sacred. So there's this coin with Pisces where it's the meaninglessness and the sacred. And that two sides of that coin where you can have either thing coming up. So you might have that coming up. You might have existentialism coming up. might have this meaninglessness coming up, and it's coming up to help you, Saturn, restructure what isn't serving something sacred, something that would be on purpose, on mission, and so completely filling you up with meaning and purpose about life. When we get depressed in this way, it's Saturn's depression to help you say it's time to restructure. Saturn gives us a depression on purpose to restructure. And when it's Pisces, it's like coupled with this meaningful meaninglessness, or coupled with this existentialism. And so the purpose is to drive you towards restructuring your life, changing your life. But to change your life, that's what's comfortable, that's what's familiar. You will have to reach and grow and face what's inside of you. And what's inside of you might be, who knows what's in there? I mean, embarrassment, discomfort for sure, insecurity, self-doubt, feeling stupid, feeling unsure, feeling hesitant, feeling guilt. So all of these things come up when we go to change from what is the status quo of our own behavior, our own life. And then we had the eclipses. April 19th and May 5th, we had the Aries and the Scorpio eclipses. So we had this new eclipse season cycle starting with that archetype of like this 29-degree mark of Aries, which is all about taking the instinctual Aries and making it conscious now. And so for 6 months, we've had this come into our consciousness where we can like purposely see how we are not assertive, or where we need to be assertive, or where we're on that pendulum swinging and we're a little too extreme, so we're figuring it out. When you step into a new level of confidence, it can feel like arrogance. When you step into a new level of assertiveness, it can feel like aggression. And just know that that's part of like the pendulum swinging as you're finding your middle, you know, like swinging to the extremes, less and less and less and less until you find your middle. But you have to go through doing it to experience where your middle is, and on any given topic, right? And then the Scorpio of digging deep down, purging the old things that aren't serving us, dealing with emotional betrayal, dealing with emotional abandonment, dealing with transmuting what doesn't serve us, what's blocking us, what's limiting us, and not allowing us to fulfill our big mission, our big light to help change the world. Like, we're driven to change the world, right? So this is kind of what's happened this year leading up to this. And then what's important is then we had Venus go retrograde in Leo. And Venus retrograde only happens every 548 days. It's a very deep internal, because Venus is, you know, that Taurus internal and that Libra yang, very internal shift of the deep insides of the collective consciousness. You know, Venus is very much our inner desires. Mars is very much our outer desires and the going after it. And so it's been this really deep internal shift, and this isn't really clear to the collective yet what has shifted, but major things has shifted for the collective. Venus got out of shadow on the 6th of October. When she went forward direct, Jupiter went retrograde. Now at the time of this eclipse, Jupiter is sitting at 13 degrees Taurus retrograde, and has this quintile to Saturn. Jupiter wants to expand, and it's wanting to expand abundance and valuing the self, understanding your values, self-reliance, self-resourcefulness. That's what this Taurus archetype is all about. And this Jupiter is wanting to expand and to become wise within that ability. And self-reliance means you're not running to somebody else every time you have a problem and wanting somebody to listen, to process to, and instead you're looking within to face things within, to develop your own mastery of your emotions, of your mind, of what's going on, to become a powered, autonomous human being with this Aries archetype. Leaders amongst the leaders, partnering Libra to lead humanity to the light. We are the precursors to the return of the light, to humanity evolving. We are the ones that are awakened, that are going before everyone else. And so we are pushing this forward. And so we're tasked with doing the inner work, doing the great healing, doing these things that are allowing us to bring our big purpose and our big light forward. And so many people are having imposter syndrome and dealing with so much insecurity and buffering and smoking pot and doing everything except doing their big mission and purpose in life. A lot of you are just subsisting and dealing with the now, thinking you can't change what is right now. Why would you live anything that is not enjoyable? You know, a lot of you are staying in places because it feels so painful. You're in so much pain where you are, feeling so much pain, feeling so stuck, so trapped, not making one movement forward. One little baby step could be a cascade event that just dominoes you into a new direction. But you have to take some sort of direction. But this is going to want to be taking a lot of mental directions in your mind, but not necessarily action. Aries is action out in the world. It's that fire energy. It's creating, and Libra is in the mind and just thinking, reflecting, pondering, deliberating. And it can just be challenging with that. It's overkill. We have a south node there. This eclipse is conjunct the south node. Mars talked to the south node, has moved off of it in that separating conjunction, got a lot of information. And this eclipse is on the south node. It's a south node eclipse. The sun in general, this Libra season is a south node Libra season this year. So relationships, all of our relationship dynamics, all of our ways that we relate. So when we talk about relating, it's like, are we relating in a dysfunctional, maladaptive way? Are we relating, or are we relating from being healed and having a great baseline of functionality and healed self, healing the trauma, having healed the trauma, having healed the deep wounds, having healed the past life stuff that gurgles up into this life and has that karmic momentum and then creates the same patterns and problems in this life. And where are you at on that journey? You may be on the journey of it. I feel like you can get a baseline bulk amount of healing done. You might have new things happen to you in your life, but I think when you do, you're in a different place of handling how you come to anything that arises within you based on what's provoked in the sky. So that Venus changed so much in the collective, and she's sitting in Virgo, ruling the south node, ruling this Mercury, and ruling this Libra solar eclipse. So this Venus in Virgo, Venus doesn't like being in Virgo. It's very nitpicky, it's very critical, it's very judgy. But what is the Virgo archetype actually about? And so much of what we feel when we have Virgo going on in our own natal chart and parts of our planets or parts of ourselves or in the sky is that we feel this guilt and atonement dynamic where there's so much guilt. And then you have to look at the programs and the culture there. It's run and built upon guilt. Look at how much it's in movies. Look at how much it's in TV shows. Look at where it's everywhere. I mean, this stupid show like Fear of the Walking Dead, I just got hooked on a long time ago, and then I had a couple episodes or seasons I didn't watch, and so I went to like watch them, and like it was just like, oh my God. It was just constant guilt and guilt and guilt to every single episode. It was like, come on, just get over your complexes already. Like it was like so not enjoyable to watch because it wasn't anything that interesting. It was just like human guilt. And it's like they were, I mean, obviously it's a TV show, it's characters, but this is what happened. But I see people doing this in real life. They're buying into guilt. You can process guilt in 5 minutes. I teach this in coaching. So why would you ever sit in guilt? I knew someone and they were like, oh, I feel so guilty. I'm like, and what? Process the emotion already. Like, why are you letting yourself be stuck? You're using it as an excuse. And there's more to that story of staying in that, right? So that's a big deal with Virgo. The thing about Virgo is a perfecting mechanism. It wants to perfect. It wants to improve upon things. It wants to bring humility to any situation, to itself. It wants to have humility, and it wants to serve humanity. But it can be the slave. It can be self-sacrificing. It can be not asking for help. Virgo has a really hard time asking for help. And it's like, what are you making it mean when you ask for help? Are you making it mean you're weak? Are you making it mean that you look a certain way? You look like you don't have your shit together or whatever it is. But that can be a very Virgoian thing. So Venus went through that massive retrograde. The collective is so shifted. We're not going to probably see and understand everything about it until probably next year, to be honest. So this is happening, and she's coming off that separating opposition to Saturn, and she's going to kind of zoom through Virgo here. And what's also really important is Mercury went through Virgo and had that retrograde there. And then it went direct. And that Mercury retrograde was very, very deep. It's Virgo. It's a yin internal sign. It was roto-rooting us deep within our psyche soul and really working on a lot within our psyches. Then it turned direct. Venus turned direct October 6th. And now we're here. We had the Aries full moon, and now we're here at this Libra solar eclipse. And then on October 28th, we have the Taurus lunar eclipse. So we're deep in eclipse season. Know and understand all the intensity and how things shift. People die. Animals could die. It could be when people get sick and maybe they don't die now and they hang on, but it's the beginning of that ending. So be aware of these things. Be aware that people in your life are going to have big events and big changes and big tumults happening. And again, remember that people's minds are going to be highly activated and having these big shifts in their mind and possibly acting upon that, possibly having, is it coming from complexes within the mind, or is it coming from a place of healed, of that you manage your brain? Do you manage your thoughts? Do you let yourself indulge in shitty thoughts? This eclipse has these oppositions to this Aries North Node and Erisina, like I said, but also to Chiron and Aries. And Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron is where we feel like we have something to offer the world, and where we can change something and we can make things better. But it's also where we really struggle to step into that and to do it ourselves first and be the shaman, be the female shaman and do it ourselves first, go through it ourselves first. That's the only way you actually get true wisdom. A lot of people have PhDs or different certifications that they use as their sense of authority, but they don't have any real authority that they created from their own work in the world, their own time in the field, their own time in the trenches. They're just using the letters behind their name alone, and it's something. And it's not to put that down at all. It's just that I see that a lot. I see people that's their sense of their authority. Their authority is not coming from the inside out. It's coming from the outside in. And this Aries is very instinctual. And whereas the Libra's in its head thinking about everything. This eclipse has squares. It has some really powerful squares to Pluto. Pluto's has this year-long running squares to the nodes. And thus this T-square that's been going on for a very long time about this Cancer is this opposite point. And that Cancer archetype is healing the feminine. Healing, us as a people coming out of the patriarchal dominator power over dynamic and coming into a partnership, instinctual, emotional, sensory dynamic power with partnership model. And so this is seeding something really big. This is seeding deep partnering within the collective, partnership based on something higher. It's got the square to Pluto. It's about shedding and evolving. Pluto's about our evolution. How are we evolving and what is purging? Deep things are purging up from old times, from ancient times that we've been alive before in previous lifetimes. And as a collective, we're shedding these old ancient ways. It is through healing our subconscious, what's in our subconscious psyche, because that creates reality. And it's through healing the past life karmic momentum And it's through healing that we actually evolve as humanity. Healing means we must feel emotions. We must feel emotions to evolve. And Libra will want to think. Libra will want to think and examine emotions, not feel them. So feeling and thinking about them are two different things. I used to study, back in the day, I used to study emotional intelligence. And it wasn't until years later where I was like, yeah, but I was just intellectualizing emotions still. It was just all an intellectualization. It wasn't feeling, witnessing, and holding space for emotions. That's the only way you get the evolution. You don't get the evolution by understanding it mentally. It's such an important thing to know, because as a society, we're moving over to, as a people, as a species, we're moving over into a sensory and intuitively, emotionally driven world. And emotionally, that word can be used with a negative connotation. I'm using it with a positive connotation, that we are running from a mastery of our emotions, because emotions are also psychic data. But if you don't have your own emotional mastery, how can you interpret psychic data correctly, right? It's very important as a psychic that I interpret the difference between anything coming up for myself and what's right for the client and what they're experiencing, and have that very clear within myself. It took a lot of years to hone that skill. And it took emotional mastery. It took me being willing to feel any emotion, feeling stupid, feeling embarrassed, feeling humiliated, feeling pain, feeling loss, feeling grief, feeling great suffering of all types, feeling, tricked and duped, feeling anything that you could think of. I can guarantee you I've went through the process of actually feeling it and being with it and going into it. And it's can be so gnarly when you're in it. It can be so hard and just dark and heavy and challenging when you're in it. I mean, it can feel like hell, like you're never going to come up. But afterwards, I tell you, I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I would never trade the wisdom I have from that. I would never trade it. So I really encourage you to know that I've been asking this question lately, like, why don't people heal? Not lately, a year ago, I was asking this question, trying to figure out some of the work I'm doing. Like, why don't people want to actually heal? And it's because no one knows how to do it. There's no actual blueprint. Healing seems synonymous with therapy, and therapy doesn't heal you. It's mental masturbation. It doesn't work. You could do it for 10 years and the same emotions trapped, and it would take 5 minutes to release that emotion. You have to understand that thoughts create emotions. However, you cannot heal emotions through the thinking. You have to heal it by actually feeling emotions. And that's what will release the thinking that's creating that emotion. Very counterintuitive. This is deep, deep work. It's work I do with my clients, and this stuff is fun, and it will change your life. And you actually heal. You actually move on from these things. You're not riddled with these complexes anymore. You don't have these maladaptive behaviors. You move through the triggers and you eliminate the triggers, eliminate the buttons that always get pushed. You actually go in and deal with the real thing. Incredibly powerful. So this Pluto square, this is intense, y'all. This is really, really deep and really, really intense. And if you are a part of the Pluto generation and you have a Libra Pluto, then you're having the South Node conjunction. Depending on what your degree of Pluto is, this could be an applying conjunction or in a separating conjunction. We've only been in 6 degrees of Libra so far in the South Node. So if you are 29, 28, 27, 26, 25 degree, this South Node is starting to separate from that, and it's retrograde right now, but it's going to keep moving towards that 0 degree mark. The nodes move backwards, remember, and in reverse. And so if you're part of the Pluto Libra generation, then you are having a South Node Pluto conjunction. South Node, the past, the habitual things, air sign, everything about your mind, how you think, how you handle things mentally. What is your narratives about everything? Are they serving you and creating what you want in life? Or are they keeping you stuck in the same old patterns and convincing you it's okay to stay stuck in the escapism and the appeasing and all the things that may seem really fun? A lot of our escapism is quite fun. I'm not talking about like the drugs and drinking and all that stuff. I'm talking about like some people escape with cleaning or caring for their kids or cooking meals or going and traveling and adventuring. And that can be somebody's buffering, where they're not doing what they actually know they're meant to do in this big purpose in this life, but instead they're doing that South Node habitual patterns. And they may feel safe and comfortable, but you're not evolving. And so we're always in this push and pull between comfort and familiarity and what feels safe, because here's the thing, think about it. That's what feels stable. It's the known quantity. So it feels stable. When you start to move towards an unknown quantity, it feels unstable. So we resist evolving. We resist growing. We resist doing our big purpose, because then we'd have to feel unstable. So how willing are you to feel, how willing are you to feel unstable? So I had a really long day I was almost going to put this video to another day because it's been a really long day, but I wanted to get this out to everyone and get this out. So I wanted you to have this in advance. The last few videos haven't been out in advance. Just a lot's happened this summer. It's been an uber big summer. So if you're liking this video, please like and share it. Send it off, text it to a friend that could really use this upliftment. I'm going to get into the sun sign horoscope soon. This Pluto square, it's really big. It's purging up all of our old patterns, all of the things that are keeping us stuck, all of the limitations, all the blocks and insecurities and self-doubts that we want to transmute, that we want to change, that we want to evolve and grow out of. However, they may feel so comfortable too that, it's so easy to just stay in them. So be aware of that. Really, really important. And also there's the semi-square to Venus from, let's move this out. There's a semi-square to Venus from this eclipse, this Libra solar eclipse. And Venus is ruling it. And there's a semi-square. And so it's this Venus, like our deep internal world. And are we self-critical? Are we self-judging? Or are we saying, oh no, my own mind is not going to beat me up? Other people may hate, haters may hate. People may think that they're dominant over you and try to suppress you or judge you or put you down or whatever. They're not creating anything in their life. They're not doing anything in the world. They're not bringing light. What are they busy engaged with? Putting you down. So it's like, really be clear that anyone that's not engaged in making light, creating their big life, bringing big value to humanity, helping humanity evolve, why would you ever give a shit about their opinion? And a lot of people have a lot of success in the material world, but that does not translate to soul success and evolution necessarily. They might have deep complexes running in their psyche, and that's really all that's ever going on within them, is constantly running complexes, but they make that veneer of what society says is a good life appear to be good. It's like, oh, you got the nails painted and the ring on the finger. It's like, are you just living a program? So don't be so worried, because Libra really cares about optics and appearances. It really cares about what other people think. And that's what does Libra in, because then it chameleons, then it doesn't be its true self, Aries. And it tries to placate and appease and fawn and make everybody else happy. Not only is that exhausting, but it's not a reality. It's not who you really are. It's hiding your true self. And why are you scared to be who you really are? It's an important question. It's also, Libra is also like Hollywood and optics and marketing and, how things appear. It's appearances, it's aesthetics, it's how things look. It can be very classy, or it can be very caught up and let's skew things this way to appear this way, to create. And you have to remember, Neptune's in Pisces since 2012. We're going to pop out of Neptune and Pisces into Neptune and Aries, and you're going to see the world coming out of massive delusions and illusions and fantasies and romanticizations and idealism that nobody is even aware that they're under. Everybody's living in a fantasy in their head and not even realizing that that's what's going on underneath. Is this Pluto, the collective is in this fantasy, in this, romanticizing. And there's a lot of romanticizing of the past. Nobody wants to evolve to the future. I'm sorry, there's nothing in the past I want. I mean, yes, my grandmother's like fruit trees and like maybe her sauerkraut and her food or like things like that. But like these past eras where like old clothes, like have you looked at fashion? Like, I don't even know what people are wearing. Like it wasn't looking good back then. What are we wearing it again now? I don't even understand. Like clothes, like I go out into my world and the clothes people wear are bringing back all of these old decades that weren't very good then. Like, I don't know what we're doing. And so it's fascinating. It's kind of fascinating to kind of watch and observe what is going on out there. And we're going to pop out of this. It's going to be really interesting when Neptune goes into Aries and Uranus will be in Gemini. And I'm excited for that time. It's going to be very zoomy and very buzzy though. So get prepared for that. I would recommend to have a meditation practice now. So this has been a hell of a Pluto cycle. It's churned up all of the issues and the structures of our society, all the issues and the structures of the way our world works, the foundations things are built upon, all the lies, all the bullshit, and moving back towards that Aquarius. So this semi-square, it's a hard aspect, about our deep internal longings and desires and how we relate to our desires and our sensuality and what's important. And also our sensuality and sexuality. And, sexuality should be a celebration, but it's very depraved in this culture. Most people don't realize they are like 99% of the population is not sexually liberated at all in any way. And people think they are, and they're caught up in all these like different types of relationships or different types of like doing this sexually and doing that. And they're doing taboos. That's all depravity. Sexuality is depraved in this culture. It is dark as fuck. It is gross, it is perverted and distorted. Anything that's suppressed gets perverted and distorted. And during goddess culture times, sexuality was a celebration, and misogyny got breathed into the culture and religions and the world, and bam, suppress the feminine, fear of the vagina, fear of the yoni, like, fear of women's sexual power. And women have been subjugated sexually, and people this population is still nowhere close to sexually liberated. And a lot of people think they are, and they're not. They're just playing out the old patterns in different costumes. Sexuality should be a celebration. And this is a Venus question, because it's like, Libra, how do we relate to our sexuality? And where's all the guilt, Virgo? So this Venus is bringing up all the guilt around our sexuality and sensuality and the way you move and flow. The way, your relationship to your own sexuality, to your own body, to your own body parts, to your body. Venus is the body. So it's so much about the guilt. And if you don't know how to pattern interrupt guilt, it's a technique I teach in coaching. Bam, I pattern interrupt any guilt that I feel. Bam, I pattern interrupt. I'm done with that. I don't let that sit in my psyche. It's not true. It's false. It's bullshit. I don't let it sit in my psyche. Why would you ever let guilt or regret sit in your psyche, or shame? There's so much shame around sexuality. And this Virgo will analyze and analyze and analyze and think that it's doing something wrong. It needs to improve it, it needs to improve it, it needs to improve it. And it'll be so far down the road of analyzing that it won't even know that it's down the road on it. And it's this obsession. So realize that that's a part of what's going on in this eclipse. So happy, good news, right? This eclipse also has a quincunx to Uranus. Uranus is a disruptor. Uranus wants you to be your unique self. Uranus wants you to liberate, individuate, be your true self, be authentic and real. Uranus wants to move into the future, move forward, and be unique and have fun. It's just a very exploratory and wild and revolutionary type of energy, and it's a quincunx, so it's this hard, stressful aspect of changing something. It's going to force us, it's going to push on us all this pressure to change and shift out of things that are not allowing us to be individuated beings. So it's going to be good, but it's going to be some growth here. It's going to be some growth spurts. You know, it's kind of like when you're growing up and like you're just hurt. You'd go to your mom and be like, oh, I have all these pains. And it's like, oh, it's growing pains. You're literally feeling the pain of your bones growing and your body growing. And it's that sort of thing, but it's in our mind. It's deep internally. It's in our psyches. It's very analytical, very thinky. And if you don't direct your mind in a beneficial way, in an advantageous way, I don't know, I can't say that, but you know what I'm saying, trying to say, way, then it's not going to produce good results, because our mind always ends up in our result line. Our thoughts always create the results in our life. And the thoughts come from the subconscious beliefs underneath that. And that's why I teach my clients how to reprogram beliefs. And 3 days to 2 weeks, bam, it's in there. And it's just a fact of who you are. You don't even think about it. It just is. You even forget that you programmed it in, because it just is who you are now. I'm valuable. I'm deserving. I'm worthy. I'm lovable. I deserve money. I deserve wealth. I deserve happiness. I deserve clients. I deserve a good life. I expect miracles and magic. And you know, I'm worthy of the goodness of life. I'm worthy of amazing people in my life. All these types of beliefs, if they're not programmed into your subconscious, you're not going to be able to create that in your life. So it's so incredibly powerful. All these trines to Saturn, to the South Node and Mars, this harmonious ability to take action and to emotionally move forward, to move away from our blocks, to change our blocks and to heal them. But also we could just kind of do nothing with that energy as well. So Uranus is shifting things up. Lilith has these trines to Erisina and the North Node, this really positive energy of the feminine standing in her power, healing, expressing the anger and rage needed to reclaim her power, to do sacred rage practice, sacred anger practice, to move into autonomy, move into assertiveness, move into that directness, that clearness, just so clear. I speak my boundaries. I ask for my needs to be met. I don't expect that they'll necessarily be met, but I'm going to ask for them, because they definitely can't be met if I don't ask and I'm not clear. And you can't go around expecting people just to know what the hell you want. Like, this is this Libra crap where people like reading between each other's lines. Don't enable people that way. Don't enable people not to speak their no, yes. Like, don't enable people and be reading between their lines. That shit keeps us suppressed as a culture and running off these unhealthy, dysfunctional dynamics. You have to realize that this culture is dysfunctional. It's abusive. We've been habituated to it. It's been normalized for us. We don't, like, people don't even know they're being abused, literally, by the media. They're being abused by the news. They're being abused by people in the culture. It's just like, it's so normalized to them. When you come out of that stuff, when I started shedding the layers of that stuff, I was just like, wow, what have I been accepting and allowing to be okay? And I'll tell you, when I started standing up for myself and speaking up and saying, no, this isn't okay. No, give me more space. No, back off. No, it's not your turn. It's my turn. I'm here in line. No, I'm taking up this space right now. No, you can't just take my place. Like, I mean, just the weird shit people do, just wanting to be like, you just move out of the way. I'm supposed to stand here. No, I'm standing here. Thank you. Like, you go on. Like, this is a weird shit. But all these opportunities came for me to like speak my voice and own my power and to stand and take up space in the world and to go move through all these complexes inside of myself and to stop, messing around. And so this is so much of what's going on here. There's this biquintile from this eclipse to your what's going on here? Let me just see this real quick. Let me just look at this real quick. Ah, yeah, Mercury. Okay, got it. So there's this biquintile, which is all about creativity, and it's all about this flow, this energy of being helped and supported and pulling down from the universe this help and support. And it's Mercury here is in this biquintile to Uranus, the two minds, the lower mind, the higher mind, downloads and galactic energy and connection to the quantum field, and just having understandings that just pop, understanding things, knowing things, resolving issues, resolving old patterns, resolving challenges, and just letting the universe help you, letting life help you, letting Louise Hay used to always say, life loves me. And implanting that into my subconscious years ago and reprogramming that belief into my subconscious as a fact, it was really crazy. It really changed my life in these big ways, because I never just thought about life as an entity itself. But I love that. I wanted that narrative to be true for me. Like, life loves me. I wanted to think from that way instead of thinking like life's out to get me, life's a piece of shit. I mean, look at the spells in the culture. Most people's like, life's a bitch, then you die, life's out to get me, life sucks. Like, that's kind of stuff you hear all the time. So programming in like life loves me is so important. And really being able to receive the magic and the miracles from the universe, from your guides, the help from your guides, and from the fairies, and from the other places, the other realms that are here to help and support us. So there's not a ton of this quintile energy in the chart, but there is some here. And this Venus Pluto biquintile, and this Neptune Mars biquintile, and it's just basically creating in this quintile, Saturn to Jupiter, it's just creating this flow. It's creating this underlining that, like, knowledge that with all of the challenges and all of the things that we need to do, there is help, there's miracles, there's magic, there's support, there's beauty, there's synchronicity, there's joy. Trust your joy to lead you to the right place. But eclipses are intense times, lots of shifting. Then we're always all up in our lives doing the things we're doing. Then people can get really caught up in some of the things, maybe people are families and relatives and all these different pieces. So let your life be beautiful, let it unfold magically, believe and allow for the divine to come in and do its part, but definitely take the action that you need to take as well. Take inspired action. Don't believe in massive action. I believe in inspired action, and you have to take it whether you feel good or not. You can't base it on whether I feel good. I mean, you'd only work like 2 hours a day, right? 2 hours a week maybe. So it's like inspired action, but handling what's coming up within you to shine your big light in the world, to upgrade to the next level of your business and bring your big magic to this world. Like, there's something that you're not doing and something you're putting off and that you're resisting, and why, and really understanding that. So there's so much magic here. But I'm going to go into the sun sign horoscopes for everyone. If you got one little nugget out of that video that helped you, please like the video and send it off to a friend. I really appreciate it, so that they can get some value from that too. And what's happening here? There we go. Jeez. I didn't really want to like grab some caffeine, but man, I am tired. That's the other thing to know about this eclipse, is that it can be quite exhausting. You are going to need more sleep. You're going to need more time to be a fully resourced woman. What does it mean to be a fully resourced woman? I have this podcast episode. It's called Are You Fully Resourced? It's on the Light Goddess podcast. The link's below on iTunes and Spotify. If you don't know the Light Goddess podcast, has been around since January of 2021, 477 episodes on so much goodness that will help you move your life forward, that will help you change your life. And it's this episode about being a fully resourced woman and what that means. And I've identified 5 things that typically we need to be a fully resourced woman. We need play, pleasure, we need stillness and quiet, we need connection, and we need novelty, stimulation. And so without these things, and it's all, you know, what that means, like how you go about that is going to be different for everyone. You know, some person's stillness might look like meditation. For some other person's stillness might look like sitting down and finally getting to think for themselves because they have kids and families and whatever else. So different for everyone, but incredibly powerful. So let's go into the sun sign horoscope. So what we do with sun sign horoscopes is the sun is your solar chart, really great information in it. Your rising is your natal chart. It's your natal birth chart. So you combine the two and you have an amazing idea of where this eclipse, like the area of life that this eclipse is happening for you in. So let's look at that, and then we'll do oracle card readings and are going to get into this. I'm in such massive changes right now. It's so crazy. I'm kind of just in the middle of it. So it just feels super weird. So just so you know, if there's never not chapters, I put them in. I might need to do chapters tomorrow. So just know that pop back by. If you subscribe to the channel, then you'll be notified whenever a new moon, full moon video comes out. So the channel was really starting to like grow, and the numbers were really up on the videos, and then summer hit and numbers on the videos just tanked. And I would love your support to get this information out to women. I spend 3 hours on these videos, and that's just a recording. That's not all of the back end work. And I really work to channel that whole time. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of glucose for my brain, and to really bring through the messages my guides think are really important for you. And I really tap into who's listening and bringing important messages for you. So please share this with somebody that you think could really benefit from it and that would really get a lot of use out of it. I really appreciate that so much, and it will help more women to get this information and to be empowered. So thank you very much for that. All right, let's get into Aries. So 7th house eclipse for you, opposite that North Node in Erisina in the 1st. This is so much about, you know, what one of the majors that you have in life, like being an Aries, right? Either your sun, your life purpose, or your rising, like part of your destiny, but your public personality, ego structure, and where you have shadow, where you hide some of the wounding in it, if you're a rising Aries. And so it's very much the 7th house of relating relationships. You know, is there codependency? Are you trying to be on your own too much? Aries can want to be very much isolated and on its own and not really not need people. And so like, are you having amazing community and relationship? This is about building. 7th house is also about completions and endings. So a cycle is ending with this eclipse, and eclipses are cutting away. Eclipses cut away things very sharply, very fast, and very quick. So this can be happening in your life. Just know that this is so much about moving into relationships that really lift you up. Who has access to you? Do you allow just anyone to have access to you? Who are you around? I went out with a girl and she was like admonishing me for not talking to this guy that was trying to talk to me. And I was like, first of all, it's a mountain a woman has to climb to stand in her power and to own her no. And then you want to like turn around and tell her not to do it and try to talk her out of it and try to tell her to talk to this guy. Like whatever weird complexes were in her psyche that's going on, like it's fucked up, because it's just like, what are you doing? Why are you not honoring a woman's no? You know, why are you trying to get a woman to just, you know, it's weird. It's weird stuff. So who has access to you, and are you able to withstand, to say your no and then withstand whatever may come from other people and all their shit, and letting that be okay? This square to Pluto, Pluto's in your 10th. It's all about your career, your purpose. You may be trying to find your purpose and figure out your purpose. You may be trying, like, confused and just trying to understand where you fit into the greater whole of society. 10th house is about playing a role in society. It's about fitting into the earthly dynamics and paradigms in society. However, we're rebuilding a new paradigm of society and culture right now. So where do you fit in the old one and in the new one? And how does that function? How does that work? Leaving the old one and moving into the new one and rebuilding the new one. And maybe you're not in the old one at all and you completely reject it. Are you on mission? Are you a soul on fire on your mission, determined to keep bringing your genius to this world, making stuff, creating art of your life, having the wild adventure, making your dreams come true? Or are you escaping and buffering and staying in the same old comfort zones? Pluto is going to bring this up big time. So just know this Venus here in the 6th house, all about your lifestyle. And are you living the lifestyle that you really want to live? This could be about your health as well. And are you maintaining a healthy life force, a healthy body, mind, spirit, soul that is able to perform the day-to-day duties in your work and your business, that's able to pull off what you want to pull off and have the lifestyle that you want to live? Are you succumbing? So this Uranus in the 2nd with this quincunx, challenging aspects around money, around valuing yourself, creating value for the world. So there's some stressful things there, and you're going through changes and challenges of trying to implement things and it not working out and trying to figure it out. It's a lot of testing and trying, testing and trying, testing and trying. When something doesn't work, it's how do you ever get something to work? You got to figure it out. It's kind of like the movie The Prestige, when they're trying to make the machine for the guy, if you've ever watched that, and finally they find all these cats and all these hats out in the backyard. It's been working the whole time, but they were just off. They needed to tweak it and adjust it, a little course correction, so that the hats and the cats would land in the location that they wanted them to, instead of way out there. So if you don't know that movie, you probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But it's just these minor course corrections. Just like when you're driving, you don't even know it anymore, but you're constantly moving the steering wheel, tiny, tiny, tiny bits. So, all right, Aries, let's do this oracle card reading. All right, Aries, you, the muse. This is about you being lit on fire and inspired, like bringing that. Like, how do you be an inspiration and uplift and encourage others in humanity to heal and grow and change and shift all their things so that we as a collective can collectively be evolving humanity, changing and moving forward? If you are not on fire yourself and inspired yourself, you have to be inspired yourself to inspire others. So how are you the muse yourself? It's a powerful thing to really think about. Encourage you to dig into that, maybe do some journaling on that, because that can really spark some interesting shifts. Limitations inspire innovations. Are you focusing on the word limitations, inspiration, or innovations? Like innovations calling you, like I want to change and revolutionize, or is inspiration calling you, like, yeah, I want to be lit up and enthusiastic, and I'm looking for how to be inspired. I got to figure out how to inspire myself. Or are you looking at the limitations? I get the sense that the limitations that you're believing in them, they're false. Often a little obstacle or block is trying to move you off the path you think is the right one, because this is better. And you couldn't, when the divine steps in, we can't even imagine how much more amazing it is. So just remember that Uranus quincunx in your 2nd house to this 7th house, it's can be breakdowns so that you can have liberation and freedom, but it can't, you can't get liberation and freedom in areas if you're not willing to have that breakdown, because there's really no other way. Uranus says like let's burn the forest down so we can have the new vegetation, but it takes 30 years to regrow. The edge of evolution feels messy. So just know that what's right often feels like shit. It doesn't actually feel right. It doesn't feel good, I would say. What's right doesn't often feel good. when you are on the edge of evolution, it's like messy. Things are all over the place, just throwing paint all over the wall and things are happening. Here's a distinction: overflow versus overwhelm. A lot of you are in overflow, but you think you're in overwhelm. And so you keep narrating it that way to yourself, and you keep yourself stuck, and you keep playing small. And it's actually overflow. It's abundance. So let it be messy. We're here. It's supposed to be messy. It's supposed to be fun. All right, Aries, sending you so much love. The Pick Your Price astrology reading is going on until October 16th. It is going to be ending. The summer sale Pick Your Price astrology reading is ending October 16th. So this is the last chance to get a Pick Your Price astrology reading from me, anywhere from 100 to my normal price of 325. So you want to capitalize on this now. Sale is ending on October 16th. Go to empoweredwomenrise.com to book that. See you soon, Aries. Taurus, what's up? This eclipse, this Libra solar eclipse for you, is happening in your 6th house, which is this this Virgo correlated house, with Virgo ruling it in the 5th house of taking your will to create your destiny, to make your dreams come true. Not waiting and wishing, asking the universe, when's it going to happen? When's something going to change? But taking your will to create your destiny. And it's this, the semi-square energy, and it's very much the 6th house of your lifestyle. What is the lifestyle you want? Where's your health at? Are you on par with your health? Are you taking care of things? Are you getting enough rest during this time? And are you realizing that getting rest is what's going to allow you to perform at the highest levels and to do everything that you actually want to do? Not getting the rest is going to drag you down into health issues, getting colds and getting sick and being run down and fatigued, and your experience of life is going to tank. So you don't want to do that to yourself. Make sure you're getting enough rest and enough play and being fully resourced. This is about the lifestyle that you want to live. Are you living the lifestyle you want to live? And if not, why? And the semi-square is about your deep desires and about Virgo of like, how can I improve things? This 5th house about children. It's about romance. It's about standing on stage in your life, creating your destiny, creative self-actualization. So it's very analyzing. Venus is in there analyzing how to make this a reality right now, with this long running square to Pluto from the nodes, but this square to this eclipse to Pluto about evolution in your 9th house, about you being this expert standing on stage, being powerful within your expertise, being this exploration. What's your grand overviews about the world? Are you stuck in beliefs, shadow, or are you expanding your concepts of reality and consciousness in the universe continually and letting that expand and grow? Are you like being on the exploration and the adventure? So this Pluto in this 9th house is wanting to understand the larger scope of the world, and the square is this challenge of your day-to-day reality and wanting to do these big concepts, maybe teaching, and yet your day-to-day reality isn't letting you do that because your lifestyle is not letting you do that. So it could be an example like that, where it's just like, what is your day-to-day reality, 6th house, and what is it not letting you do? Because this is about traveling abroad and teaching and being a philosopher and a sage and a gypsy and having so much fun and philosophizing. It's very intuitive, deep knowing and sensing through the world. So there's questions here and provocations here for a shift, because Saturn wants a change. Saturn's in this 11th house, wanting to shift, like how you bring your gifts to the world, how you're liberated, how you're building community with other people. And, is it through this dynamic or is it through this dynamic? right? This opposition to the 12th house. There's, past life gunk coming up about standing in your autonomy, standing in your power, owning your no, owning your boundaries, speaking your needs, all of that. This Uranus in the first house, quincunx is stressful aspects of really knowing who the hell you are right now and really understanding like who you're turning into. There's an evolution that's happening and you may not know what that is right now, and letting that all be okay. The breakdown of identity right now, Uranus in the first, is all about this shift into this liberated self that's going to come after, but you don't know what it is. And so it can feel very much like the caterpillar dissolving, like, oh my God. So it can feel like death when it's actually the beginning of a rebirth that's going to be better than anything you can imagine. But it's here for a little bit, here till 2026 in that first house. So bliss is worth creating from. So get into that joy. Why are you not doing that, Taurus? It wants you to get into that joy. It wants you to realize that creating from the work, and are you creating from strategy, from work hard, from hustle grind, from have to, from got to, from need to? Or are you working from, I'm inspired, this is lighting me up, this is fun, I see this vision, I'm a soul on fire, I'm passionate? So where are you creating from? Prosperity sisters are happiness and joy. So much about joy is coming up here. It came up big in your astrology as well, and it's understanding that prosperity comes, my guides are just like hammering it, like, yes, like there's something here for you Tauruses where you got to get out of that stodgy kind of place, and that energy of just kind of this fixity of ways of being that's comfortable, but it's not allowing growth or anything to change or be magical or beautiful in your life. What do you really want? And it's getting really clear about that. It's there. What I'm getting is that there's this lack of clarity. There's this, it's a shadow, it's a haze. It's like you think you know what you want, but there's too many things from all directions. And it's like really getting like this one target nailed down, having this one vision. But it's talking about the joy. It's talking about like, what is the one inspiring, joyful, driving force towards this one target? The target is the joy that's inspiring you, that's underneath, that's driving you. So it's wanting you to revamp your drive and to come from be driven from joy, be driven from inspiration, and from this deep like mission, on purpose place within you that is moving towards this target, this vision that, yes, it may like shift some, but it's ultimately always going to be the same general thing. But like the exacts of it might shift, and not being thrown off by any of that, understanding that's just natural part of it, part of the unfolding story. We're an evolving story. Our business is an evolving story. So letting that be okay and letting that shift, but making joy the priority. That's what's coming up so huge, Taurus. Sending you lots of love. I have the Pick Your Price astrology reading running until October 16th, and then it comes to an end. So if you've been wanting an astrology reading with me, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com and get the Pick Your Price astrology reading for this last period of time that's running. It's going to be ending October 16th. Sending you all so much love. Gemini, this eclipse happening for you in your 4th house. I should have really recorded this like in the morning. Like I'm just so not on right now. I'm not on, damn it, but whatever. Let me see something real quick. Sorry, y'all, if I leave this on here. I'm in like a massive evolution with these videos. I am whatever. No, let it be. All right, y'all. Gemini, let's do this. So 4th house eclipse, square Pluto in that 8th house. Venus, the ruler of this eclipse in the 4th, with the semi-square to it. It's very much this pushing, squares are about growth. Yes, they're challenging, but if we don't go through challenges, we don't grow. Here's the thing, is that sometimes challenges don't have to be bad. It's like, why are we always making them bad? Yes, there's the dark shit. So there's the dark, tough stuff. But I have to tell you, like, just sometimes I resist feeling so much, and then I sit there and do my techniques and I feel them, and I'm like, why was I resisting it so much? Gosh, I just go into it, release it, and then I get the treasure. My friend always talks about this quote. I think it's a Joseph Campbell quote, that the treasures are in the caves you dare not enter. And it's like, it's actually so quick, and we fear it so much, but yet if you just go into that cave, it's so quick. I walked somebody that I'm new to today through, she was having some grief come up, and I just offered to help her process through it, and just the relief that she got from this experience, like, that is the magic. That's what uplifts my heart so much, is teaching women this power of my emotions work that I teach in coaching, that I teach on the podcast and other places, that it's we resist what doesn't actually take very long to do, and we get so much power in it. So Pluto's emotional. 8th house is emotional. It's deep subconscious stuff. It's about sex, death, and taxes. It's about our sexuality, emotional betrayal, emotional wounding, trickery, manipulation, all the dark underbelly of the world, all that kind of stuff. And it's Pluto here. So it's the evolution of all of that, evolution of your psychology, the evolution, that there was this person commenting, and I was watching this other person's comment. It was just an interesting thread. And this person, her comment was to, like, basically give advice to this person, to give this other person a snarky response. Like, yeah, you're not supposed to do this, see? And it was just like, no, no, this is what's wrong in the world. This is what we must change. And this is that 8th house realm. This is that Pluto realm, changing the superiority, inferiority complexes, changing the insecurities and self-doubts, shifting our limitations, changing all the wounding, healing all the wounding. People don't heal because they don't know they actually can. It's not set up in a society and culture. This is part of my big work in the world, is I'm going to normalize it in this culture, damn it, if it's the last thing I do. And I'm going to help people, particularly women, know that it's actually quick. There's specific methods and techniques that work, and that psychedelic journeys and transformational retreats are helpful and cool and whatever, but that is not a substitution for the actual healing work. And so we want to do this. We want to deal with whatever Pluto's bringing up for you here. All of the stuff's going to be purging. You're going to have a lot of purging in your psyche. It's a lot of stuff in the mind. Don't deny it. Don't suppress it. Don't repress it. I really encourage you to take the opportunity to go into it. If you don't know how to do this work, you can get into my Facebook group where I teach free masterclasses. It's all in there. It's so helpful. You can just get all that content for free. I teach this stuff. I'm coaching you on those masterclasses. You can get into my podcast for free. I'll help you there for free, or you can come into a discovery call to apply for coaching. I have very limited spots, and so it's something to consider to finally heal and move beyond these things. Venus in this 4th house of inner and emotional security. And so you got this 8th house, all the subconscious shit, all of the past life, unhealed, like betrayal, emotional abandonment, all of that kind of stuff. And then you've got this Venus analyzing, like in your emotional world and your inner world. Like, this 4th house is about inner security and emotional security and that foundation. But it can want to try to stay safe and stay comfortable and stay in the known and the familiar. And that's going to be the unhealthy version of this. Eclipse is trying to help you evolve in this 5th house of standing on stage in your life, taking your will to create your destiny, make your dreams come true, make things happen, have fun, be enthusiastic and passionate, stand on stage in your life, bring your gifts to the world. This Uranus and this quincunx, the 12th house, is wanting you to individuate from past life bullshit. This is an eclipse about healing for you. That's the overall theme. big stuff coming up. It's wanting you to liberate from the past. Greater fire in a protection message though. So, you know, like we said, that 5th house eclipse, it's that fire energy, and there's just this lack of enthusiasm, passion, inspiration. I would get some energetic work. I'd get some Reiki work. You can get in touch with me. I do Reiki in a very specific way. I don't use it to balance your chakras. That's just something that happens. I use it to heal past life bullshit. So you can book a Reiki session with me. Or an energetic, you know, session. I do some other energy medicine, but it's very much, you know, like if you don't work with me, work with someone, but clear out things on the energetic realm, do some past life work and get that healing there. And you got to get your passion, your verve back, that drive, that optimism about the future. Collaboration of souls, it's wanting you to get like-minded community around you, support, be around other people who are living the same type of life too. A lot of us are just in our own individual spheres with not a whole lot of people doing the same life of like a powerful feminine entrepreneur, as someone who is a light bringer, a starseed, someone who is advanced, evolved, awakened, someone who's had a spiritual awakening. Like we might not have a lot of people around us that are doing healing work and that are managing their mind and are on the path. And so nobody's kind of confirming our reality. Nobody's giving us the mirror neurons. Nobody's really in it with us. And we're just kind of on our own. And it can be hard to keep this going on our own. We want to keep putting all of that juice around us. We want to keep putting ourselves and inundate ourselves with the high frequency, with these narratives, with the world we believe in, with the optimism for the future. So it's like saying, you know, do some energetic work, clear out the stagnant energy that's got like sucked you dry of that, you know, passion, that spark, and then get around like-minded souls, and it's gonna help anchor and cement that and just have that around you. It's gonna uplift you. Limitations inspire innovations. It's wanting you to look at your blocks as in a different way, as like stones in the river, that you're moving towards this fork in the river because that's the better one. It's going to give you a better ride and a better experience and better scenery and more food to to harvest and more beautiful treasures to forage for, and instead of this side. And so don't, like, how are you thinking about blocks? Maybe it's the way that you're narrating them, that you know, are they really truly a block? And understand that a lot of times we're thwarted because there's something that we need to switch. There was a way that I was thwarted for like 3 decades in my life. Like I had to do this internal shift, and it was so nuanced and so micro. Like without astrology, I would have never been able to find it. But I was like, oh, and just like the block started moving out of the way. And so we have to realize that our soul is trying to evolve. It's trying to have humility. It's trying to be healed and whole. It's trying to bring light and bring, you know, it's trying to be internally secure and emotionally secure, and it's trying to be powerful. So understand that our soul is guiding us to these higher places, and are re-allowing that. So sending you so much love, Gemini. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading, I'm running this summer sale until October 16th, and then it is coming to an end. So I'd really encourage you to get in on this summer sale while you can, and then astrology readings will be back to my normal price. So I wanted women to be connected to the power of their astrology. So definitely get in on the sale if you've been wanting to book an astrology reading with me. Sending you lots of love. You can go to empoweredwomenrise.com to book that. All right, Cancer, let's do this. Eclipse is happening for you in this 4th house, square to Pluto in the 7th. The ruler of this eclipse is in the 3rd semi-square. Your 4th house, eclipse, all about inner security and emotional security. How is your mind narrating things that is making you a victim, making you disempowered, and not stepping into your empowerment? We have to face where we're being a victim if we're going to actually overcome it. Society shames it. So on top of being willing to face it, you might have to deal with feeling shame for having any sort of victimhood within you, because people victim shame all the time out there. Even supposedly people that are supposed to be, astrologers or coaches or helpful people out in the world are victim shaming others. So make sure that you're not allowing that shame to stop you from owning it and seeing where you're disempowered and being like, oh no. The thing about powerless, that emotion is hard to release or identify. A lot of times it's hard to release because we're not identifying it. It's hard to identify because it often is something that we've had to just deal with because we were suppressed in some way, because maybe we were a kid and we were stuck, living under a parent's situation, whatever it was. And then we grow up and we never really identify the emotion of powerless. Starting to work with the emotion of powerless, I'm telling you, it'll unclench your jaw. It'll make your body suddenly like relax. It'll change your world. And I do this in coaching. It's such powerful work. It's one of the most powerful emotions I've been working with. For me, it's still kind of a subtle emotion. I'm definitely identifying it more and more and more, but it's an emotion I don't think most people know when they are having it. So how can you even release it when you don't know that you're experiencing it? So inner security, emotional security, it's what this is all about. Also anything to do with family and historical family. So your gestational carriers, your soul family, etc. The semi-square, Venus ruling this in Virgo in the third, like Venus is busy analyzing you to death, maybe self-critical and self-judging. You got to get out of that. You got to pattern interrupt that guilt and instead choose to manage your mind. Choose to create the thoughts that you want to believe. Choose to manage your mind. Managing your mind means you're working with a tool, pen to paper. That's what managing your mind means. So I talk about that on the White Goddess podcast. All of it is for free. You can go to the link below and that will help you so much to learn how to manage your mind. I have some episodes coming out soon. They're going to talk deeply about that. This Pluto and this seventh house, all about relationships. And so it's like, what is the inner security that's causing you to like Pluto here, people please, and allow, the dominator culture, the domination, the subjugation of yourself, allowing yourself to stay in the old paradigm, people to walk all over you, to do for others, to sacrifice, or to not be your true self, to fit in, or where you're afraid what other people will think. Really important questions here. It's happening. This quincunx to Uranus, very much about your 11th house of friends and building your audience and your business and community and bringing your gifts to the world. There's this adjustment period because Uranus is wanting you to be free and liberated. So you might be losing some friends might be moving out, people might not be understanding you. It might be hard to stand in your power, but as you do, you're going to find the people that are really soul family and soul tribe. All right, Cancer, let's pull you some cards. Definitely everything there. This eclipse is really about people for you. It's about your security without them. Like, are you feeling secure if like you don't have people or you can't call up to somebody as soon as the emotion hits? So like, what do you do when you're backed against the wall? Do you reach for people, or are you secure within yourself and then you come to people as a whole being and with your unique offerings? And it's really about your relationships with your audience and friends, relationships that are deep partnerships and connections, and then the family relationships and how you think about it all. How you think about it all is going to determine the relationship you're experiencing. Our relationship starts in our mind. So follow through is so important on continuing the journey. You've started things, you've implemented progress, you're doing the work. So don't stop on the journey. Don't go back into the crab hole. Don't go back into the like sideways, sidestepping away and not going directly at the issue. Follow through with what you're trying to do. Find your sacred flow, all about allowing the universe to work for you. And when you're on it, you know you're on it. When you are like on the vision, when you've got flow going on, you know you're there. You're riding the wave. And this is about riding that wave of this sacred river of everything moving and being in communion with you. This is about flowing with life and allowing yourself, instead of like getting out of strategy and getting out of have to, and instead allowing it to unfold more so the divine can work in your life and you can co-create together. What else wants to come through for Cancer? It's this prosperity sisters or happiness and joy card, all about understanding that prosperity is directly linked to joy. And our ancestors knew this. That's why they chanted and sang and danced and had fire ritual and ceremonies. That's why they have the rich, amazing, bountiful cultures and customs and traditions that they have, that we're actually reviving and bringing to the mainstream. Now, so in waves and waves and waves, people are going to Peru to study psychedelics and doing this and doing that to bring all of these many varied traditions and knowledge to the mainstream, to shift the world. It's changing the world. And so bringing in the joy, understanding that how important that is. All right, Cancer, sending you so much love. If you would like to book a Pick Your Price astrology reading, this sale is only going until October 16th, and then it's going to end. So you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com to book that, and then it will be no more. Sending you lots of love and hope to see you in a reading. All right, let's do this. Leo. So Leo, this full moon is happening for you in your third house of the mind. And it's a Libra full moon. So this kind of Libra, Gemini energy just stacked. It's just all of this like thinking. And so it's really this Pluto in your sixth, very analytical house, like wanting to improve upon itself, all about your lifestyle, the lifestyle you want to live. How is your health? With this ruler of this eclipse in your second house of money and valuing yourself, and like, are you fully resourced, and are you resourceful? Like, do you realize your talents and skills and abilities? And so with the semi-square to this moon, with this square to Pluto, this evolution is wanting to understand your lifestyle, have the lifestyle you want, have the prosperity and the money and the material possessions, bring value to the world that you make money off of. You've got this Uranus in your 10th, career, sacred purpose. You're taking up space in the world with this quincunx to this moon. And so it's so much about breaking free from the past, like having this possible breakdown that is allowing more freedom in your career, more freedom, but it's all going to come from your mind and how you're thinking, how you're narrating it. Are you managing your mind? Most people don't know how to manage their mind. This is pen to paper work, where you're actually doing pen to paper brain management. If you don't know how to do it, get into the Light Goddess podcast. Link is below. I teach this there for free, and you can, I encourage you to get into coaching. But I'm telling you, managing your brain is one of the best things I ever did for myself. I'm not talking about, learning about it, because I did that for decades before I actually learned practical application to do it every day in my life. And I don't go a day without it. We clean our kitchen counters more than we manage our brains. This is what's up for you. It's about your day-to-day work life and the pain that you're in there and all the shit that you don't like there, the lifestyle that you don't really want or like, or in an escapism buffering lifestyle, not doing the one you really desire. And it's about the money that you want to have, or the money you're working to make, and your business and your big purpose in this world. And so that's what this is about from you. It's all stemming from the way you think, and if you're managing your mind. So it's so clear. Let's pull some cards for you and see what else comes up. And then I'd really like Chris to stop doing this. What's happening here? Yeah, restart my computer and update it probably. There we go. Okay, let's see if that works. So choose who you are becoming, our mind, how we narrate life, identities. One of the things that's funny to me is that what I noticed over a decade is like people, we take on identities of like, let's say an illness. You might take on the identity of Hashimoto's or MS or PTSD, because before you took on that identity of that, you were just trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. Something was going down. Your whole life was being turned upside down. So stuff was happening to you and you didn't know what it was. And you needed to find an answer. Like, what is happening? What is this? What do I call it? What do I identify it? Which is very much that third house. It's categorizing, it's identifying. And you can't do anything with things unless you know what they are. But then unfortunately, what happens is people take on the identity, take on the identity of disabled or single mother or, poor mother or something. People take on these identities to serve them in the moment, but they don't realize that now they've lived that for the coming decades, the coming years. So really sit down. I encourage you to journal about all the identities that you took on that maybe you're ready to shed. And it's like, this is an eclipse. Let's cut away. Let's shed these old identities that aren't me anymore. That's not allowing me to relate to the world, Libra, in a way that's useful and that's serving you and that's helpful. And so like, choose who you're becoming. Like, what are the identities that you want to take on? Podcaster, creator, author, entrepreneur, powerful woman, prosperous woman, rich woman, wealthy woman, woman that's empowering to others, inspiring woman that is healing woman. I'll tell you, like, the identities I have are female shaman, healer, mentor, guide, inspiring woman, powerful woman, empowered woman. These are my identities. Artist, creator, wealthy woman, soulful, loving woman. And I don't mean like for somebody else. It's just more of an internal thing. But it's like, I'm a soulful woman. I'm all about the soul. Everything comes from there. That's why everything. And everything is because it's for that. And there's like, it's, man, don't you hate it when bad things happen to good sentences? But anyways, so it's like, what are the identities that you want to be? One step ahead is all you need. I get the sense there's a lot of things you're trying to do, and it's just like so much. There's so many irons in the fire. You can't like get there by shooting a bunch of arrows at a bunch of different targets. One step at a time, and it might be one little micro step, but every step you take with like presence gives you information and data for which to know what the next step is. Get out of the big picture of it and get down into just the like singular thing, distraction of shiny things. Yeah. It's that third house energy as well. It's just squirrel, it's like the mind is too busy. This is a big message for you to manage your mind, get clear on your target, and just take one step at a time. That's all you need. Get out of the urgency, get out of the self-doubt and the fear. And I hope that you can be helped by this reading, but if you want deeper help with that, the podcast is free. You can go there, or you can apply and get into a discovery call with me for coaching. All right. I'm sending you so much love. And if you'd like to book a Pick Your Price astrology reading, the sale is only going till October 16th, and then it comes to an end. I've been doing a summer sale all summer long, a Pick Your Price astrology reading. So you can get in on it until October 16th, and it's coming to a close. You can go to empoweredwomenrise.com to book that. Sending you lots of love. Talk to you on the next moon video. All right, Virgo, this eclipse is happening for you in your second house with the ruler of it in your first, semi-squaring it with the square to Pluto in your fifth, with that quincunx to Uranus in the ninth. Very much about the wounds around making things happen, accomplishing your goals, like standing on stage, being enthusiastic about life. Could also be about romance and kids, stuff like that coming up about that. The wounds around that. Very much, this is second house about prosperity. It's about valuing yourself. It is about self-love. It is about material possessions and having. It's about having. Are you in scarcity and lack, or are you in having? Are you in abundance? A lot of people mistake overflow and abundance for overwhelm. Where are you at with that? How are you narrating it? this Venus in this first house of choosing who you are and analyzing the self, analyzing the weight and the body and the personality and threats from other people too much, and judging yourself or criticizing yourself or trying to sit there and improve all of that, it'll drive you crazy. The semi-square, you got to get out of that, paralysis of the mind. Very thinky time we are in with all of this energy. And instead, like, think about how your personality ego is the house for your soul and how it serves humanity. How is this unique, beautiful self serving humanity? How are you having fun in this unique personality of you? Because you only get to be this person once. Your soul chose this makeup, this body, this look, this way, etc. And the way people like self-modify to have all kinds of interesting creative appearances and things, it's like the sky's the limit. Like, people do such interesting stuff. That's not really one of my natural, like, innate things, but I'm always like eye candy. It's always like such like eye movie to be like, oh wow, just like the creativity that people have. And so get out of your boxes, try new things. This Uranus in the ninth like wants you to explore and expand. But there's these challenges to that. It's a stressful thing. It's like, your mind is like thinking about it but never acting upon it, and Uranus is just going to break things down and give you the breakthroughs, the breakdowns rather, and the like big disruptions in your life and the reversals to try to get you to go towards more freedom ultimately. And when it feels uncomfortable, it's because you're trying to stay safe and play small. This fifth house is all about bringing your gifts to the world, feeling special, being enthusiastic, passionate about the future, optimistic about the future. It's like taking your will to create your destiny, accomplish your goals. That Pluto is bringing up lots of the wounds and secrets around that. It's a square to that eclipse. You are living poetry, like understanding the magic that is you. Are you connected to your greatness? Have you ever thought about that, about your greatness? We grow up trying to be the greatest or the best at things. Have you ever spent time thinking about your own individual greatness? And what does that look like? And are you pushing the edge of your own greatness regularly, week to week to week to week? Like, what is possible for me to do? And I'll tell you, this takes rest. It takes being a fully resourced woman and making sure you take care of you as like such a high priority. Just my particular makeup, I can, not meaning to, put that on the back burner because of just my makeup and not realizing that I'm even doing it. And it's not intentional. It's not because I don't value myself or anything. It's just because I'm not realizing how much disproportionately do I get returned to me when I do it. And like, I've had to adjust all of these things to make it built into my life, to make it that much of a priority. And it took a little bit of deprogramming to not want to just keep working instead, and to be like, no, like I can just work myself to death, even when I love it. I can, I love what I do, but I can do it too much. So it's like, are you in touch with the flowing, magical, amazing gifts that you bring, that you are, your genius, your greatness? And are you taking care of yourself so that can actually bloom, so that you can commune with aspects of it that you've never known before, levels and depths that you haven't touched before because you weren't fully resourced before to the greatest level? Pleasure is so important. That second house, that Venus. So magic happens. No, you have that Pluto in that second. No, you have, what is it? You have this happening in your second house. So yeah, it's the second house eclipse for you. So sexuality, sensuality, all of that is so important. There's so much wisdom between the legs. So you got magic happens when you most expect it. So there's a lot of in the mind, expecting the worst, expecting the other shoe to drop, or just simply not expecting the best, not feeling like you're worthy of it and that you deserve it. And so then you don't leave room for all the magic of life to just spill in. And the last card for you, Virgo, is your soul shine. So understanding that you are a light bringer. Someone out there really needs to hear that you matter. You're here to bring light. It's so important that you do the work that you're meant to do in the world. Get over imposter syndrome, get over all your internal shit. Yes, you can't just push a button. You got to do the inner work, the inner healing. That's why I do the work I do, because I want to help you all move past that so that you can shine your big light in the world, because all of us together as female community are changing this world right now. So join in, get your big mission and purpose and vision out there. And it's not about urgency, and it's not about rushing. Just one little step at a time. All right, I'm sending you so much love. You got this, Virgo. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading, that sale is ending on October 16th. So you can book that at empoweredwomenrise.com, empoweredwomenrise.com. All right, Libra, first house, eclipse, new moon for you. And all right, first house eclipse happening for you. Square that Pluto in the 4th. Semi square that Venus ruling this Libra solar eclipse in the 12th. Past life, shadow things, wanting to be healed. Lots of analyzation of all the stuff coming up from the deep ancient past. That's past life stuff churning up. And meaninglessness that is all about creating a life that is actually sacred to you. Meaninglessness is wanting us to realize that what we've created in a life, or what we're currently living, isn't holding sacred value. It's there for a reason. It's to show us that. So that's coming up. But there's a lot of, could be a lot of that self-analyzing and wanting to improve, or self-judgment, self-criticism. And instead, if you can improve upon and heal this past life stuff and understand what that meaninglessness is really about. This eclipse, Libra in the first house, all about identity, how you deal with threat, who you are, your personality. So it's really wanting you to kind of like choose the identities that you've taken on carefully, and just shed, cut away, eclipse, cut away from old identities that no longer serve you anymore. With the square to Pluto, all the places within around family and home, all the wounding, all the secrets, all the deep purging. There's going to be lots of stuff purging up around those types of issues, and also around the issues of emotional security and inner security. Where there's pockets that you don't have it, that's what's coming up. This quintile to Uranus in the 8th, all about the deep subconscious patterns, sexuality, money, acquiring money, getting money with other people, issues like that, adjustments, it's stressful aspects, it's possibly a breakdown in how you are emotionally around all of this, so that you can have a breakthrough of liberation and greater freedom. And maybe you've been equating freedom to these certain ways of thinking about it, Libra, air, and that Venus and Virgo analyzing, when really it's actually freedom can look like this, and you just have to stop narrating it as something wrong or bad, where money's coming from, and let it all be okay. So these are big issues up for you, Libra. Let's go into this card reading here. Cozy up to risk comes up for you. Usually, like a lot of times, if you notice in your life, other people will think that it's very adventurous or risky when you don't. And for you, it's just like who I am, what I do. For example, like for me, traveling all over, or to just take a train when I was pretty young, taking a train to New York and just going. Like a lot of people around me at the time were like, oh my gosh, you're so courageous and everything. And I'm like, what? Courageous? I'm traveling to another city. like to me, that sounded really weird to say it's courageous. I was like it was just like, why wouldn't I go and explore the world? I would like to get off planet, it's like, let's go. So this is the thing, cozy up to risk, and consider, Libra, thinking, why is it risky to you? What 4th house are you feeling comfortable in you know, that is not allowing you to grow and keeping you stuck. And so it's wanting you to branch out. And really what the risk is branching out of your comfort zones. The risk is feeling emotions you don't want to feel. And if the worst thing that can ever happen to you is feeling an emotion, well, then get busy, growth, evolve, big shine your light into the world. You can do this. Accept and receive. Where are you at with this? You might need some energetic work to allow yourself to receive compliments and love. I'll tell you, it's crazy, like how much love we don't take in, how much animals are communing with us, life is communing with us, the trees, the plants, our environments, the world, the river of the divines. Constantly there's gifts and blessings and miracles, and we don't accept and receive it all coming in, all wanting to land and to grow and to bloom in our lives. Ambush fear with ferocious dreams. Fear is going to come up. You know that you're trying to expand if you feel fear, but don't let that shrink you back down. Let that be the trigger to knowing you're on the right path and jumping in. You know, it's kind of like cliff jumping. You know, as long as you know that there's enough water and you're not going to like, you know, hit the bottom and bottom out, as long as you know you're far enough away from the edge of the cliff, what's the problem? You know, as long as you don't like land weird, you know, like jump straight down with your feet. And it's like, come on, let's have some fun, jump off this cliff. So it's like the fear doesn't mean stop. So don't let fear stop, and really get focused on your target of like, what's my vision? How can I get lit up? How can I get passionate? How can I get so lit up and on fire with joy and passion, and really doing that? How can I bring in that spark? So sending you so much love, Libra. If you would like to get an astrology reading with me, I still have the Pick Your Price summer sale going on until October 16th, and then it ends. So get in on this way you can. Go to empoweredwomenrise.com to do that. Sending you lots of love. Talk to you next time. All right, Scorpio, this eclipse happening in 12th house. This could be extra purging for you. It's ruled by Venus, sitting here in the 11th house, semi-square. And square to Pluto in your 3rd house. This is all of your mindset. Pluto is churning up everywhere where you need to manage your mind, where you are not narrating life in a way that's serving you. And also it's going to make you aware of all the ways in which you're healed, where you've grown, how you've evolved, and how you really have been on your path doing your inner work, and where it's culminated to a beautiful outcome for you and creating beautiful results in your life. This is 12th house territory. You know, it's past life stuff, past life connection. It's the psychic energetic realms, imagination, creativity, and love. And, you know, this could be psychic gifts, you know, cutting away from, you know, the narratives in your mind that are stopping you from your psychic gifts coming in line, from you being connected to the all that is, and your guides talking to you, and what wants to come through for you. But definitely a lot of times this is very tough. But there is a rebirth, there's a culmination, there's an ending and a completion here happening, and there's multiple endings happening for you. And this is really big because it's an eclipse, which is an ending, and it's a cutting away of an old cycle. It's a new moon, which is a beginning and having culminated something, and it's 12th house, which is a culmination to have a new beginning coming up. So the culminations, the balsamic periods, the endings, they're often fraught with purges and all the gunk churning up to the surface. But whatever arises is coming up to be released and healed. You have this quincunx in the 7th house of relationships. Uranus breaks down and disrupts stuff in relationships to create liberation, to allow you to be your true authentic self. And so what seems like maybe a breakdown in relationship is really going to be a realization that you were never actually able to be your true self there, and you weren't kicking them out yourself. Or maybe this is going to be this breakthrough for you to finally get to be your more unique self and express yourself more fully. So let's pull cards for you, Scorpio, and see what wants to come up. So you got bravely market your magic. This can mean literally in your business. Get out there, speak your voice, get your name out there. It's how you do it. but also it can mean to like speak up, speak your voice, be proud, be assertive, be, clear about your boundaries, speak your needs. You can't expect people to do anything, but if you don't ever ask, if you don't set the clear boundary, you don't give people a chance to keep it. However, it's up to us to keep boundaries, not other people. And so this is like, really also it's about speaking, believing in all these good amazingness about you. Like, do speak how amazing you are. A lot of people have a hard time speaking how amazing they are because it sounds like arrogance and it sounds like self-centeredness and all of that. There's a difference between a narcissist and someone who's confident and knows there's power in this world and knows their skills and who owns what they're good at in this world and knows that they're good at it. And collaboration of souls, getting around like-minded people, getting around soul family, find soul tribe, put yourself in that milieu of all the people that are about this kind of stuff too, so that you're being inundated with this narrative of life, and shut down, lower the volume on the other old paradigm narrative. Stop being around it. Stop being inundated by that. Stop buying into it, believing it, and letting other people inundate you with it. Stop the fear machine. Stop watching news and all that crap. Like, put in good so good can come out, good in, good out. Make sure you're around high frequency people, uplift your soul, be around amazing souls, creator air. And if this is hard or a problem, what are you doing to resolve it? Are you doing like Bumble BFF? Are you going to meetups? Are you going to events? Are you going to workshops? Are you getting out there and talking to people? Are you talking to people in line at the store? Are you talking to people you run into? Spirit's going to nudge you in different directions to talk to people, and it might be scary or feel awkward, but unless you talk to them, you're not going to make a relationship. I've had Spirit made me chase somebody down, and it was just like, really, is this what I'm doing here? But I don't give a shit what people think. Like, I just don't. I know what's happening here and the bigger thing that's happening. And there was a beautiful outcome to that, even though it was like, okay, I'm like chasing this person down, I feel like a weirdo, but it was beautiful. I had an amazing thing that came out of that. But so it's like, listen to those nudges and calls, because amazing things are to happen. You got creator air, which is like using the consciousness of air, understand that it's a consciousness, the air quality, the elements of air, and work with it and understand, like, program thoughts onto your brain on purpose to get it, because your brain is, we are a biological computer. So program things on it on purpose that you want it to run, program in the programs you want it to run on purpose, not the programs you were socialized and conditioned and that are in the culture, the spells. You like manage your mind. You must clean out your brain and manage your mind. Pen to paper, brain management work. I teach this in my Facebook group. I teach this in Light Goddess on the podcast. And so there's free places to learn this work, but also you can apply for coaching if you want to change your life, because this work changes your life. So you got to manage your brain. You got to stop indulging in shitty thoughts that are creating results in your life. Your thoughts create results in your life. So you got to do that. Think on purpose, think deliberately instead of not. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. I have a sale going on until October 16th, the pick your price astrology reading sale. It's ending October 16th. It's been going on all summer long. It's your last chance to get in on this. Sending you lots of love. Talk to you in the next video. All right, Sag, eclipse happening for you in that 11th house of impersonal relationships, friendships, collaborations, groups. Also bringing your gifts to the world, being your unique, individuated individual self, breaking free from the past. It's also this area of life about your building your audience and your business. It's got that semi-square to Venus ruling this eclipse in that analytical sign of Virgo in the 10th of your sacred calling, of your soul mission, of your purpose, your career. Square Pluto in the second house of money and having and valuing yourself, that you then create value in the world, that you then make money from. With this quincunx to Uranus in that sixth house of your day-to-day work life, day-to-day routines and schedules, your lifestyle. Like, have you ever thought about what lifestyle you want to live? it's also your health and vitality and life force energy to live that lifestyle that you really dream of. And so we got to take care of our health, be fully resourced in that 6th house. And so Uranus might be breaking something down in your health, disrupting your day-to-day flow and work life balance so that you can then create more freedom, because Uranus wants you to have more freedom. Uranus wants you to be liberated and independent and authentically expressing who you really are, which you may not even know who you really are. Like sometimes we don't know until we have the contrast of the opposite, and then we're like, oh damn. So really narrate breakdowns or reversals or disruptions as with curiosity. Come to it with curiosity, because it's something important. But this is stress. These are all stressful aspects. These are all hard. This is hard stuff. But hard stuff means growth. It means we're growing. It means we're evolving. It means we're not fucking repeating the past. This is good shit here. So this Pluto in the 2nd, all about that having prosperity, abundance. This Venus is maybe over analyzing your business, your work, your career to death, trying to improve or wanting, like feeling guilty or feeling like self-critical or whatever. You got to stop that shit and just see what is wanting to be birthed here. And it's something related to collaborations, community group. Like maybe you're meant to build a community, or maybe that's something in your business you haven't done yet, or maybe you're trying to attract the soulmate audience or community to you and your business. But this is all about your work, money, and day-to-day work life and lifestyle. And how is it in ways that you don't want and you don't like and that are painful and bothering you, and what do you want to change and shift? This eclipse is cutting things away, disrupting things for change and growth and evolution, so you can have what you really want in life. External validation, seeking external validation too much, caring what people think too much. That's a very Libra thing. We have to remember Saturn's exalted in Libra. Saturn's very concerned with public opinion, and it's optics. Think politicians. Libra is a politician. It's the celebrity. It's like Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm pretty sure I read an article about her, and just think of the world she's lived in throughout her life, being an actress and in that realm, and being a celebrity, and she was still under the programming about her body being her value and how she looked. And she was talking about it and how she's gotten better at it. But we're talking about at 70 or 80 years old. I don't know what decade she's in, but it's gosh, I don't want to be 70 giving a fuck what other people think. I'll tell you, I don't. So I nailed that one. But it's external validation. There's always going to be ways where we do in these micro ways. So once you get the big ones out of the way, now you got to do it in the little nuanced ways. So there's little ways that I'm oh, okay. I'm there's something in there. I just got to, remove that and get that out of there. So there's all these more nuanced ways that we keep owning our power to be our unique, authentic self. There's something in your reading that wants you to be your unique, authentic self. Magic happens when you most expect it. There's something here about the mind and not letting your mind run amok, not indulging in shitty thoughts or creating a shitty experience of life. Our thoughts end up in our result line. Our thoughts create our results. And so, are you expecting the best? Do you feel worthy of abundance? Do you feel worthy of having that 2nd house? Do you feel worthy? Do you feel valuable? Do you believe you are valuable? This is 2nd house stuff. Are you self-reliant? That Pluto is going to bring up everywhere where you are a victim, where you are disempowered. And we have to be willing to look at ourselves as a victim and see the victimhood within our psyche to actually be able to shift it, heal it, and change it. So don't shame yourself or accept shame from others about it and think there's anything wrong with it. All of culture has a lot of disempowerment going on. All of humanity, even people that look like they have money or look like they have great relationships or look like they have so much in the, earthly realm. People are wildly disempowered in ways they don't even see. It's out there. And so don't be ashamed, just face it so that you can heal it and move through it. I teach that everywhere. I teach it for free in the podcast and in the Facebook group, but this is what I do in coaching with women. Sacred mirrors, all about, the experiences that we have and the reflection of the world around us, understanding the world around us, understanding what we're seeing, understanding ourselves within the other and the other within ourselves. you know, it's about getting around people who lift us up, people who, you know, mirror to us the good about ourselves. You know, not too long ago, I was just realizing like I had to go through the things I've had to go through, and really integrate a lot of heaviness and a lot of darkness and a lot of truth about, you know, what's going on in the world. And I was just like, the scales were really tipped, you know, like how much love was coming towards me, how much beauty and like, and people expressing good things towards me and all of that. And it was like, I was like, I need to go tip the scales here. And so I got busy getting out in the world and getting around people and groups and environments where I was loved, I was seen for who I really am, not for their projection onto me. And I was treated with kindness, and you know, my intentions were understood correctly and not like misunderstood through their lens of their wounds and triggers, and got a lot of love flooded into my life. And this isn't a protection message saying that there is not enough of like seeing yourself clearly, of people mirroring you properly and understanding you at the real soul deep level. And also that like understanding what is going on in your life is about what's going on internally, and that's needing to shift and heal. The reason why people don't heal is because they don't know how. And this is what I specialize in. I'm sending you so much love. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading or inquire about coaching, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com. My pick your price astrology reading is a sale I've been running all summer, and it ends October 16th. So if you want to get on that, go to empoweredwomenrise.com, and I'll see you next time. All right, Capricorn, 10th house, eclipse, all about your career, your sacred purpose, your mission, taking up space in this world. It's all about where you fit in to the earthly realm, within society and culture. But what society and culture are you choosing, and how do you fit into the old one and the new one, and which one do you want to be in? And you know, are you in default world, or are you in the new paradigm of us bringing the light, returning it to the earth, and getting out of all this depravity and human ridiculosity that's been going down? So all of the stuff is coming up for you, but it's Libra, you know, it's spinning on it in our mind. We need to do that polarity point of that Aries, stand in our power, be courageous, assertive, own our boundaries, own our no, initiate and take action on the beautiful things we understand. That Libra can want to examine from a distance and feel very safe in that examining, and not actually take action. Ruled by this Venus in Virgo, semi-square, maybe over analytical about where you fit into the bigger whole, you know, the universe, maybe some existentialism coming in, can maybe just you know, thinking that you're not doing it right, you're not doing your platform right, you're not doing your business right, you're not being an expert at the highest levels in your business, you're not teaching well. Or you can just really be in this clear, dedicated understanding of like yourself as a teacher, yourself as a guide, as a healer, as whatever you do in your work, and being very clear about your expertise that you bring and where you're at in your path and your mission and what you're doing. And so super important, kind of understanding those big philosophical overviews. Pluto in your first house, going to move out into that second house soon enough in January, but a little bit longer here. Rotorutoring out everything to do with your how you see yourself, how other people see you, your personality, your weight, your appearance, how you look. All of that stuff is up for you. You know, it's like how you fit into society, how you fit into the cosmos. You know, understanding your deep knowing, are you listening to your deep intuitive knowing, standing in your power? And this quincunx to Uranus is breaking things down in your fifth house of romance, children, and accomplishing your goals. Uranus is disrupting things, breaking things down. Maybe also it's forcing you to stand in your authentic self finally. You know, this is all about how your unique individual identity fits into the larger whole and the cosmos and in the earthly realm. And if you're going to be your true authentic self, or if you're going to, you know, just do consensus status quo and worry about what other people think, big things and shifts are up for you. Eclipses cut away things and end things so that new beginnings and seeds will be able to grow. Balance was the first card you got. Libra is always seeking balance. It doesn't really have balance necessarily. You know, it's a justice system. It's trying to balance out the rights and the wrongs, right? And of course, our justice system is defunct. And so balance is about course correction. Balance is about what it takes for us to feel solid. you know, it's not an equality. You got, welcome the divine masculine. The masculine and the feminine, people are conflating it in the culture with everything under the sun. I heard the other day someone saying that mothering is masculine, and I just like, oh, my head is exploding. What she meant is mothering is a lot of doing, but she's conflating doing with masculine, and that's just not fucking true. Like, you know, it's just like it's just we need to pull these things apart. The masculine is the yang external energy, the feminine is the yin internal energy. You're doing, whether you're in the feminine or the masculine energy, but from an internal drive feminine or from an external drive masculine. You're maybe meditating and being, but from maybe an yin internal feminine place, or being from a yang external masculine place. You can be from a masculine place, or you can be from a feminine place. So we got to deal with these conflations. It's in a protection message. So it's wanting you to heal any of the masculine energy within yourself. It's wanting you to get clear about what the hell these things even are. You know, maybe that it's not even the paradigm that you want to, like the lens that you want to see through, but it's talking about your yang external energy expression, anything of that part, like the drive that's external. What is that all about? Is it healthy? Some energy work clearing out. There's some clearing needed, some energy work clearing needed. If you don't, I do Reiki. I do it very specifically to heal past life stuff and deal with any of the energetic psychic realm stuff that we need to clear out. You can book that with me or work with someone else, but I would get some energetic medicine definitely, and do that work. That will help big time. And celebrate your wins. So this is talking about how you are not honoring all the amazingness that you are, all the things that you accomplish, all the little things you're overlooking and dismissing them. Women have been dismissed and trivialized and minimized enough for you to do it to yourself. Stop doing that and start turning up the volume on every single thing you accomplish. Celebrate your wins, own the amazingness of you, what you accomplish, and deal with that mind that keeps wanting you to be at this level up here and will only celebrate you if you're at this level. Well, that is a journey to get there. That's a long-term thing. Celebrate your everyday wins. Buck yourself up. Honor yourself. Like, see your accomplishments, see your efforts. Like, really honor your efforts. Honor your willingness. Honor your tenacity. You know, find that stuff important, and things will really shift big time. So sending you lots of love, Capricorn. If you would like to book an astrology reading, I'm doing the Pick Your Price astrology reading sale that I've been doing all summer until October 16th, and then it's closing out. So if you want to get in on that, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com. Sending you lots of love, Capricorn, and I'll see you next time. All right, Aquarius. This eclipse for you, Aquarius, it's happening in your 9th house, all about like where you fit in with the cosmos, expanding, exploration, traveling abroad, and really understanding yourself within like these more metaphysical, philosophical understandings. This is square Pluto in the 12th house of the spiritual realm, past lives, our psychic, energetic realms. All of that. Semi-square Venus in the 8th house of the deep mystical subconscious realms, the psychological, all the internal workings of our psyche, soul, and analyzing, judging, self-critical, maybe putting you down. Quincunx Uranus in the 4th house. So it's basically this water trine is all connecting up to this 9th house for you. It's this water trine of soul. You know, it's form, matter, Cancer to soul, Scorpio to spirit, you know, Pisces land. So it's very much all of the water. It's the deep emotional security and inner security. It's the emotional betrayal or abandonment that you face, and especially in relationships, or subconsciously in childhood, past lives, all the past life issue around that can be coming up for healing. And that's affecting your sense of meaning in this world, your sense of like what it all means, what this world's all about, like understanding your place in the cosmos and the higher of the high. Like there's this searching and questioning and wanting to find out more and more and more and understand things at a higher and higher like grasp and level. And it takes this inner emotional security. It takes looking at the wounding. Also, what's so important here is to realize how much you've grown, how much work you've done, what have you accomplished. Really take assessment of what you have healed, what you have grown in, celebrate your wins, really see the beauty that you've accomplished in your life, that you've made, see where you're at vibrationally and frequency wise, see where your mindset is that's different now. But this is very much about emotions. You got to feel your emotions. Are you thinking your emotions, Aquarius? Are you intellectualizing them? I used to study emotional intelligence years ago, and I realized years later, like, I'm still intellectualizing emotions. I'm still not feeling them, like, what does intellectualizing them got to do with anything, And so it's feeling our emotions is what allows us to heal. It's what allows us to evolve. And it's what allows us to be intuitively connected to the river of the divine. So I really encourage you to spend some time there. Let's pull you some cards. You got fierce serenity, which is about like protecting and guarding and keeping safe your efforts for yourself, your self-care, being a fully resourced woman. I talk about that in the first part, so you can go watch the first part and get that information. It really helps if you watch that part. And fiercely protecting your serenity, your peace, your joy. What does it take to do that? Maybe you don't drive in traffic when it's rush hour. Maybe you just wait and read a book and then hit the traffic when it's not. Maybe you come to that traffic because you do want to travel at that time and get to A to B, whatever. And so maybe you come and you set yourself up in a good place before you get in the car and touch a tree and do a little bit of breathing and, maybe do some frustration work, and then you get in the car. This is just an example, but apply this to every area of your life. Like, how can you protect your sense of peacefulness and your cup being full? There's going to be all these things coming at us. Get back to the elemental, it's wanting you to get into trees. I kept seeing like lots of trees, lots of nature. It's wanting you to get into nature. It's wanting you to connect with trees and animals and joy and little tiny like storybook types of fun. Like that Pisces energy is like storybooks, all the little animals and all the little birds. And are you connected to nature? Are you connected to life? Are you connected to the cosmos, ninth house? Are you seeing seeing life breathe in and out, and the in breath and out breath of life, of the trees blooming? We had this huge storm and it was dry all summer and insanity, like Saudi Arabia levels of heat where I live, and bam, we had this big hailing, powerful thunderstorm that was just raucous and amazing. And then next day, the flowers pop on the sage bush, and it was just fucking gorgeous. And it was just like, man. And like, are you in tune with all those things? It's really wanting you to get the hell out of your head and get into nature, get down to the earth, ground, walk, baths, salt baths, touch your body, pleasure, connection, being in the body. It's wanting you to get to the elemental, distraction of shiny things. Like I said, I didn't even see this card. And so get out of your head, managing your mind. Are you managing your mind? Pen to paper. That's what it takes. If you don't have that skill, I teach that skill in my coaching. And I teach it on the podcast for free and in my Facebook group for free. So definitely come in and seek that, because there's plenty of free support. Sending you lots of love, Aquarius. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading with me, I've got the sale going on until the 16th, and then that's going to close out and be back to my normal prices. And if you're wanting to get in on that, you can book a pick your price astrology reading at empoweredwomenrise.com. See you soon, Aquarius. All right, Pisces. If you haven't watched the first half of this, I suggest you do. It'll be so much deeper and understand so much more. This is happening in your 8th house of death, sex, taxes, the occult, the spiritual side of things. It's the house of the dark and the light, and standing on the precipice of the dark and the light. It is the subconscious, and it's other people's money. It's semi-square that Venus, which rules this eclipse and new moon in that 7th house of relationships, square Pluto in the 11th house of your audience and friendships and groups and collaborations, quincunx this Uranus in the 3rd house of your mind. So breakdowns in the mind, breakthroughs in the mind, disruptions, lots of, it's like Uranus is trying to disrupt your old patterns of thinking, and maybe the fact that you're not doing mindset work, and your perceptions on life and the way you view things and narrate things and understand, perceive, so that you can have greater freedom. When you manage your mind, you have greater freedom than you ever thought possible, and you will definitely create and change your life in the ways that you want to change your life. So incredibly powerful. So think about that. It's also this Pluto in the 11th house of bringing your gifts to the world, more greater liberation and freedom, being your authentic, unique self within groups. But all of the wounding is coming up around this, having people in your life. What's the wounding around this, Pisces, that's going on? Venus analyzing relationships to death. The mechanism of Virgo just automatically is like, oh, I should have done this, and why aren't they doing this, and they should be perfect, and I should be perfect. Fuck. Just like really ditch all that, and you got to let it go, and you got to realize how you can bring your authentic soul and your heart to relationships. Stop allowing people to have access to you that don't deserve you. Ditch that. Heal whatever the thing that your mind keeps churning on. Do that inner work. If you don't know how to do the inner healing work, it's what I teach, it's what I do in coaching. And I'm telling you, I absolutely get my clients transformation. Their lives change. And I teach this for free in the podcast. I teach it for free in the Facebook group. So there's free places to get it. You've got this quincunx, these stressful, hard aspects to Uranus. It's in your 3rds. It's all like kind of like affecting, like these things are affecting your mind, the way you think about it, and where your mind's currently at is affecting these things. And so it's like this loop. And so you're wanting to get out of this loop, And this is a grand air trine, it's like connected up to this 8th house of your spiritual connection to all of life, to resources and other people's money, to holding the dark and light and being on that precipice, and to being a healer. So being a healer means like how you think about things. It's so important. And also what's important is like it's our relationships, it's our local environments, it's how we relate to everything, and it's how liberated and free and how authentic that we're being. This air quality is such a beautiful element to work with. Start communing with it as a consciousness, and start talking to it and seeing what it wants from you and how you can work with it in a more beautiful, powerful way that will really spark something pretty magical if you kind of work with it in that way, Pisces. This card, okay, what wants to come up for Pisces? Fierce serenity wants to come up. It's about protecting your peace and your happiness and your joy, and about being fiercely protective of it. It's about making sure that you're a fully resourced woman, making sure you're getting the nature time and the salt baths and the things that you need, sleep. And eclipses tend to be intense, so there's more sleep needed and more self-care. You need to do these things. Prosperity sisters are happiness and joy. Wants you to value joy over everything else, over the mind's bullshit, over the hustle, the grind, how you think you're supposed to be. Libra a lot of times like has this pious idea of what a good lover, a good parent, a good daughter, a good mother, a good worker, a good career person, a good entrepreneur is, instead of actually coming from this place within that's fully resourced and is like, it's like there's this stillness, there's this center within that's like solid, and this joy, this fierce joy. and changes and protection come up, that there's a lot of shifts and changes. They're moving quickly. They're happening fast. There's like, this eclipse has a very big urgency, energy with it, sense to it that's happening. And it's air, it's just air. It's just such a big push of like this urgency energy, and changes are happening and shifting, and doing these things are going to provoke changes, but this is in protection. So I'm going to get more information about this. What is this about? It's how you're narrating changes. So if you're narrating changes, a lot of times you have to reprogram into our subconscious. It's not going to work at the beta brain level. You have to program it into your subconscious. That changes aren't bad, that changes are good. And really programming it in that changes are positive, and how we look at them, because a lot of people have it programmed in that changes are bad, and like, oh my God, things are shifting, because it feels like our foundation, i.e. our security, i.e. where we feel safe and comfortable and all that, which is the past, is oh my God, our foundation, our security, our stability is being usurped and all of that. And so it's wanting you to be aware that how you narrate changes. So that's what that protection message is about. It's a subconscious thing. So it's going to take subconscious reprogramming. And there's actual technique to do that. The distraction of shiny things, there's too much, like squirrel, this, that, it's too much. There's something here about, I don't get a clear idea of what the answer is to that. But there's an answer that wants to come for you. And so I would talk to your guides, I would inquire, I would look at that. There's this follow through card that wants to come through, and it's wanting you to follow through on what is important. And I think the big thing here is that Venus, like, prioritize, learn how to prioritize. There might be a million amazing things, but distraction of shiny things is like getting high on all of the downloads and all the crazy energy and all the excitement, the fun and talking and connected, and it's never actually focusing to fruition and creating the thing. And so it's like, what is the most important thing, but coming from fierce serenity and fierce joy. So really interesting reading for you, Pisces. I hope it helps. If you'd like to book a Pick Your Price astrology reading, you can do that with me at empoweredwomenrise.com. This sale is ending on October 16th, been running it all summer. So if you've been wanting to get in on this is the time to go to empoweredwomenrise.com and book that astrology reading now before the sale ends on October 16th. I'm sending everyone so much love. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you on the next moon video coming up soon.